You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. Well, it's your boy Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders podcast. Woo! And today, baby, we got an amazing independent creator here. Not just creator, he is a writer. He is an illustrator, an award-winning writer. Let me add in front of that. Oh, man. This guy has 6 funded projects out of 6 projects. Well, that's your 6 for 6. And we're here today to talk about his 7th that's about to drop on August 6th. And let's get excited to talk about this dope project with the one, this future star, this future legend in the making, Mr. Jason Reeves. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, everybody?
What's popping, brother? Thank you for coming on to chit chat about, first of what y'all doing in the industry right now. Because wow, 6 funded projects. I did some, looking back, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And now you got, the project you did in issue 1. Now you're dropping a straight 1, 2, and 3, folks. Wepa, you know what I mean? Get a nice fat bundle, you know what I mean? Stuff comics. But we're gonna get all into that in a sec. Let me reel it back just a tad, and let's talk about when Jason Reeves was what a wee lad. Okay, let's get it done. So Jay, talk to me. Where you OG from? And the most important question on this show: what was the first thing in fandom that you ever fell in love with?
Oh man. That's super easy. Okay, so wee lad, I am from New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm a Southern boy. Yeah. I'm a Southern boy. So growing up, my homeboy Mark Leftwich, shout out to Mark, introduced me to X-Men Classic comic books. The first comic book I've ever seen or read was X-Men Classic, where the Hellfire Club is fighting the X-Men, and Wolverine is like thrown through the ceiling and everything, and he's falling through, and he ends up in the basement. Yeah, that's like the first comic I ever got my hands on. So that's a good one to start with. Like, so the X-Men were my entry point into comics, and what an entry point that is, right?
So, did you have local shops around you once he showed you this and got you addicted onto the culture?
Yeah, man. We were like, I think it was 8 years old, and a group of us, neighborhood kids, used to walk a couple miles from our house, and there was this shop called the Bookworm of New Orleans East. And Miss Pauline was the proprietor, and man, we loved her so much, and she just embraced us. And she was like, she had this really cool thing where she had a back stock of comics in the back of the store, and there were shelves and shelves and shelves of comics, and you could get them for $1. So we used to troll back issues.
The good old days, Me too. I had Grand Book Center with the bags of comics for $1, and then they had some that a little bit more, like horror. So those would be 2 for $1. But I had a great aunt, man. Let me tell you, if I would help her, she'd give me some money. I said, can we go to the Grand Book Center? Okay, back then, bring these stacks home, reading some dope stuff as a kid. So, I get you, man. I was smelling that old paper, you know what I mean?
We used to too. so back in the day, we were on welfare. My mama had food stamps, and she would give me like a 10 to go get dinner, and then the change she would let me keep the change. So I would spend all my change on comic books. Like,
hey, bro, us too. Shit, and we were from Brooklyn, in the 80s. Tough Latino family, one worker. So yeah, we live that shit. I don't give a fuck. That's the best cheese in the whole damn world. That block of cheese. You remember that block of cheese, bro? Let me tell you, that was crackers and cafe negro. Oh my god. Woof.
Man, don't even get me started, man. My mom used to take the chicken and make it into patties and fry them. Man, that would be the sandwich right there, man. Like, listen.
You're making me hungry, but come on. All right, I want to talk a while. Don't get me too hungry now. All right, bet. All right, so talk about then the journey. What inspired the journey? How did you start getting creative? What led to you wanting to kind of share, those stories and art?
So I think I've always been creative. I've always been drawn to like cartoons and drawings and paintings and comics and stuff ever since as long as I can remember. I started drawing when I was like 3 or 4 years old. So I would watch my mom like doodle while she was on the phone, and she'd just be drawing grapes and whatever. And I would mimic her at the table doing that. But once I discovered like cartoons, especially back in the 80s, there was that cool Superman cartoon. And I just got those things on DVD. It still look good. And once I discovered like cartoons and Sesame Street and stuff like that, I would just draw those things. Or Michael Jackson was really inspiring, like a Thriller jacket.
We're from the same gen then. Yeah, me too. Back in the day, I love Mike. Mike had great music, great style. It was fun. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, bro. I was a breaker. I was a Beat It fan. Let's go.
That's what's up.
Have a dance battle. Jason, at the next con, we must have a dance battle this meeting.
Hey, listen. You probably gonna win that one, but I'm down. I'm up for anything.
Hey, we do it for charity, bro. That's what we're gonna do it for. Let's go.
Oh, we do a Kickstarter off of that.
So we imagine that. Oh yeah, listen, we're gonna need a Kickstarter, right? A Kickstarter after we get so tired trying to lay out on the floor after that exercise. Kickstart our hearts, please.
Old man dance on. Nah, man. So I've always been creative and I've always loved to draw. But once I saw those comics, I knew that's what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to be a comic illustrator. I was like, what do I have to do to be that dude? What do I have to do to be John Byrne? So I spent a lot of time tracing comics, Marvel and DC comics, and then I would take the stuff, like I would trace different panels, but I would create my own stories as a result of those panels. So I'd say, okay, I wanted Venom to be jumping on Spider-Man, so I'd find a panel, trace it out, and that would be the panel of the story I was trying to tell. So I did that for a long time, and then when I was like maybe in middle school, I said, you know what? I'm gonna draw my own comics. So I would create my own characters, and I had this crazy derivative of G.I. Joe, where the good guys were fighting a Cobra-style villain team called the Confederate States, and the good guys were called, I don't know, something like America's Force. It was like G.I. Joe. And that was like one of the first comics or first comic ideas that I drew and wrote myself, right?
I like that you went with pop culture stuff, because when I was in junior high school, my friends and I, all comic fans in our class, luckily. But we were uber geeks, and so we were also buttheads. So basically, we made a comic strip making fun of everybody in class. So it was basically heads of whatever they were. So they called me Psycho. So apparently I had the Jason face. My friend was Father Abraham because and we drew like a meatball with a karate suit because he loved karate and he also was a big guy. You know what I mean? We were mean, but it was funny. Just this kid, watermelon head, he really had a big head. That's how we drew him. The watermelon with legs. So yeah, we use humor and pass that around the class, and kids would actually eat it up. We would give it for free because they would get it printed and they would just die. They're like, yo, you guys are so effing mean. But it was funny at the same time. Right. Mean but funny that no one ever felt, insulted. They would laugh. They're like, it's mean, but it's funny.
Yeah.
So why didn't you do it like that? What is you couldn't do that back on the hood back there?
Yeah. We would battle. Like we would crack on each other and do the dozens and all that, but we would draw it too, right? Like same thing, like exact same thing. But then on top of that, we were all nerds too. We were all comic fans and whatnot too. And
so you had a tribe. So you luckily had a tribe of how big was your tribe of geeks, if you will?
It's crazy. It was kind of big thinking back on it. We were all like around 12, 13 years old. We were all into it, and we were all drawing and trading comics and stuff. It was interesting.
It's funny. So I had a clique of about 12 guys. That was our crew, about 12, 13 of us, right? only about 3 to 4 of us like the culture. Everybody else was like, "Oh, you guys are cool, but don't talk about that geeky shit. What's wrong with you?" So like, you know,
it was a good bit of us. It was like a class full of dudes that would like during class goofing off. Like we would draw each other and draw comic book characters. I had one homeboy, Mike. He was like the other artist in the clique, and we would battle. Like he would draw Spider-Man versus Batman versus Wolverine, cool. And I'd be like, Batman versus Venom, and then when we were done with our pages, we present them to the other homies, and they'd be like, "Oh no, you won that one. Oh, you won that one." You know, that kind of thing.
I never got to do that. That sounds fun. Art battles in high school. I had rap battles at my table because I was a solo guy, always with music. They always come up to me, do the beat at the table. So all of a sudden, there's a rap battle at the lunch, just like the old school 90s movie. Yes, folks, it really did happen, that kind of stuff. Honest to goodness.
No, same. We did all that. Same. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy regionally how all the kids would do the same thing, though, in that era. Like, man, we were
more connected than not. We were more connected than not, but luckily we didn't have social media because it probably then would have turned that, to hell like it is now. I think more of us probably would have been dead, Jesus Christ, because we would have been on some. Oh man, on that, folks, you don't know how bad it was. Thank goodness the 90s don't have social. Woof, man, enough of us died. Anyway, I think that's funny with this book. I mean, it was a crazy era, and I love it. So so talk to you when you really started getting open to submitting your stuff. How did that even happen? Like, what got you bold enough? When was it that you said, "F it, I'm gonna put my stuff out there"? I can say, "Hold on, let's go."
I was always an outsider, man. I was always outside on that kind of thing. I mean, so when I got to high school, I went to NOCA, which is New Orleans Center for Creative Arts, my junior and senior year. And man, they told me, and at this point I had been drawing for years, and they told me I was at the margin for the people they let in the school. My mom had to like write a note to say, "This kid draws at the table and he really loves this and he wants to be in your program." And I almost didn't get in, which was crazy. But I ended up graduating from the program in my senior year. And then I didn't know what to do, right? Like I was 18, actually I was 17, because I went to school really young. I was 17, I was like, man, what do I do? Do I go to college? And I had a semester of college, and I had to take all these requisite classes. And I was like, but I want to be an artist. I want to draw comics. How do I do that? And there really was no avenue down south to do that.
So what are you talking about? So people kind of were aware. So what your struggle was. Like, what era was this?
Yeah, this was late 90s. I graduated high school in 1997. So late 90s.
4 years after me. So yeah, the internet wasn't really that prevalent on trying to get work out there like that yet.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was still brand new. Like a lot of people didn't even have computers in their houses yet.
Yeah, man, we had AOL with that horrible DSL, man.
I'm telling you. So I ended up I went to live with my grandmother in Canada in '99 after a semester of college because I was just like, I can't work and do college at the same time. It was a lot for me. I was on my own. I wasn't living at home anymore. And I was like, I got to do one thing or the other. My roommate decided to move. So 99, I went to Canada. I stayed with my grandmother for maybe like 6 months to recalibrate, get myself together. And I was drawing the whole time. And I came back, did a couple menial jobs, finally got myself back on my feet. The worst job I ever had, working at a car wash. And whole time I'm drawing. But then I start working at hotels and kind of finding my niche as a night auditor. And at night, it's quiet. So you can work, you can draw. And I found out about this thing called Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, in the back of one of my X-Men books, And I'm like, what is this thing? And I talked to my homeboys and I'm like, we need to go to this. This is where the comic people are. And we just kept planning and trying to gear up to go. So Hurricane Katrina happens, 2005.
Oh, so you were there when that happened?
I was there right before it happened. 2 weeks before Katrina, I was at my first San Diego Comic Con.
Oh, wow.
Right? And I met my mentor, Lee Moyer. And at first it was just like showing him my artwork and showing different publishers my artwork. There's a thing at Comic Con where in the pavilion, you can do art critiques and have art directors and editors critique your art.
I know in the press, they do the same thing in New York, man. They have these cool cubes, private booths, and they put you in the. I mean, for me, that feels scary. When I saw these booths, at first I wasn't aware of what it was. And when I talked to someone, what is that? When they came out, oh, they were reviewing my drawing. Like, so I got to see the room, and I just sat there by myself, when nobody was there. I'm like, this is intimidating, man.
Well, what's crazy too is that it's not always the people that are hiring that are doing the critiquing. So sometimes it's like their assistants or like assistant editors or whatever. It's not always geared towards getting you a job. Sometimes it's just a thing that they're doing there just to kind of have a presence. So
go learn how to talk to artists. Right? That's bad, man. Come on, don't waste their time either, man. Come on.
Exactly. It gets really nerve-wracking, but it does kind of teach you to have a thick skin and kind of present yourself to other people. So that's a boom in the industry. Okay. So did that. My mentor says, man, look, you need to come hang out and I'll teach you how to do Photoshop, which was this new program that all the traditional artists were like, what is that? Are they cheating? And, and all that. And I said, cool. So I didn't think anything of it. And then Hurricane Katrina happened. We lost everything. My apartment had a hole in the living room and a hole in the bedroom. My computer had mushrooms growing out of it by the time we got back home.
What type of mushrooms? I
don't think you can eat those.
For real, I'm sorry, man. That must have been a horrible feeling to have lost everything like that.
It was bad, but you kind of just roll with the punches, man. Like
at least you have your life, right?
yeah. And I came back. We had like a U-Haul van. I took some of my comics with me, and whatever we could sell.
Wait. The comics survived Katrina?
Some of them, not all of them.
All right, which one? Marvel or DC? Mostly Marvel or mostly?
I was on the third floor. So we got a little water damage, but it wasn't as bad as everybody on the first floor.
Okay.
So it was a mix. A lot of Image comics survived.
Image is a survivor. There you go. They're the winner of the Wildcats.
My Wildcats run survived. So all my Jim Lee signed Wildcats, that survived. So I was happy about that.
Oh, that's great. I scared Jim Lee when I went to New York Comic Con. He was wearing a Dodgers hat. So I was at a John Ridley party. So the way I introduced myself to him, I just stood next to him and I looked at him and said, "Excuse me, sir, but you're wearing the wrong hat." And he just looks at me, "Excuse me?" I said, "I don't even play." He's like, "What the hell?" I'm just joking. He's like, he goes, "No one ever said that to me." I mean, he goes, "That's my team." I said, "Listen, I'm respecting them when they were in Brooklyn. All right, that's it."
Straight up.
I mean,
I met him one time when I was younger. They were doing that. Matter of fact, when Image first started, they did that tour around the country.
I did the New York Comic Con one, bro. My boy skipped the line and everything. Some big dude, and no one told him shit. He was out, just come. I said, "Nah." He goes, "He ain't gonna do nothing. Let's go." I said, "Oh my god, all right." Hey, listen, we saved like an hour and a half, so you're like, screw it,
Yeah, listen. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
I admit it years later. I was a line skipper, folks. I'm sorry. I have repented since.
We were at a comic shop maybe about an hour away from the crib, and the Big Seven were there, and man, they had like maybe 200 people in a line outside their store, and they signed everybody's comics. I had like 20 comics with me. Homeboy had like 20 comics with him. And who knows how many comics everybody in the line, and those dudes signed every book, man. So Jim Lee hit all my Wildcats, man. I was like, yo.
The only one I was able to get to was Rob Liefeld. So I had him sign an X-Force that I had, and then the Cable hologram card. But it was drawn by Jim Lee. He goes, but Jim drew it. I said, but aren't you Cable's daddy? He goes, that makes sense, and he just signed it. It's true, right? I bet. So, all right. So, talk to me about these projects and Kickstarter. This is what I need to know. That journey, bro. You know what I mean? Like, how did you get in? How did you get in? What was the step? Did you have a chance with a major publisher, or did you say, I'm doing it dolo?
I put myself in. You know how big is like kicking the door, waving the 4-4? That's me. Like, I literally pushed my way, nudged my way into the industry. I was a freelance illustrator at first, 2006. I created 133 Art as an illustration company. So I did like concept art for Hasbro. We did some stuff with Esquire magazine online. We did Wizards of the Coast that does, Magic the Gathering and all that.
Yeah.
We did concept art. I was doing anything I could, man. Album covers, book covers, whatever. And in 2012, I was like, man, I still want to do my comics. So I created OneNation, me and my homeboy John Newton, and all of the notes and recordings we did about the story. I finally hired a writer to help us write them down. Alvern Ball, shout out to Alvern, my man. And we put it all together, and I drew the first couple of issues, and we released OneNation #1 in 2012. So that was the beginning of OneNation.
OneNation is all the way back to 2012.
The first book the 133 Art Publishing has ever produced. It's also the first book that we printed ourselves, because we do printing in-house. And by 2012, we knew we needed that, because outsourcing the printing was way expensive at that point. So, the first book we ever did.
All right. So, what did that feel like creating this project, and why did you decide on Kickstarter as the platform?
That was mad later. Like, Kickstarter wasn't until, I want to say, 2016 or 17.
Oh, wow. Really?
When we released OneNation,
went straight up all cash, independent, printing, out of pocket on this.
Straight up, out of pocket, friends and family, not Kickstarter, Facebook, telling everybody, getting the word out. We were grassroots for a few years before we ever jumped on Kickstarter.
Wow. And what was that like, that journey, doing it, on that level before jumping on?
I was learning the industry, man. I was learning the comic book industry proper. And then I was learning the Black comics industry, right? Like, we got our sections, right? And I was learning who were the major players, who were the great artists. I first learned about Machindo. John Jennings was coming up at the time. Urias, shout out to Urias of Black Heroes Matter. I was learning about just my part of the industry and the industry in general, and meeting people, all my friends and my family and my connections that I have now. I met, like, it was like, there's a quote in Goodfellas where Henry is like, when he's little and he's dressing like the gangsters and he's working at the cab stand, he's like, that was when I met the world. That 2012 was when I met the comics world, man. Like, I was exploring.
Beautiful. Yeah. So talk about building that right team for this project before doing the Kickstarter.
I actually met Alvern at that 2005 Comic-Con. I stood up in a panel, and I was like, I was asking some of the pros, like, how do you find writers? Yeah. And at the end of the panel, Alvern came up and he was like, you're an illustrator, you looking for writers? I was like, yeah, man. And he was like, here's my card. And we had a little repartee real quick.
Nice.
And then when I was creating OneNation, like when we were putting it together, and I wanted to start drawing in 2007, I hit up a couple of writers that I met at the time, and I went online to like penciljack.com and DeviantArt to try to put together that team. And Alvern was the one that his skill and his tenacity shook down and worked really well with John and I in our writing. And so he was the guy. Like, so in 2007, we started collaborating on the issue. He would write it. John and I would outline it, send him a big outline. He would come back with a script, and I would draw it.
Wow, there we go.
And then we started working with, we had to find somebody to color because I couldn't do everything, and I was still learning Photoshop. So we found Luis Guerrero out of Mexico. He came in, again, went to DeviantArt, penciljack.com, and was like, yo, I'm looking for somebody. And as it shook down, Luis was the man. And he is one of the most amazing colorists in the industry. So Luis colored those first runs of OneNation.
Oh, beautiful, man. So, all right, so here comes along Kickstarter, years pass. You know, what made you decide to do that as opposed to, you know, continuing on that self-publishing out-of-pocket route?
It's a grassroots endeavor, man. Like, you gotta save up your coins, man. Like all my coins from freelancing was put into the business and into getting that first round of printing equipment.
Yeah. Gotcha. So who told you about Kickstarter and how did you feel about it the first time you did it? And I believe you okay, brother? You're there with me?
Yeah, I'm good. I think we're good now. It's like it loaded.
Is it that they don't want you to spill the secrets of success? That's what it is, bro. Because you had 6 successful campaigns already. So, you know, what was it about that first campaign? What were the lessons that you applied to the others? Because, I mean, you're 6 for 6 and about to bring on baby number 7.
I've always been like an introvert, and I keep having to learn the lesson of not to keep everything inside and under my hat, because I don't like people to know what I'm doing creatively. But the biggest lesson is you gotta present yourself. You gotta tell people about this stuff. You gotta go on top of the mountain and you gotta shout, "Yo, I got a Kickstarter." So that's the lesson that I keep as a natural introvert have to keep learning. So now I'm to the point where I'm sending emails to friends and family, and I'm like alerting them to the thing, and I'm sending messages, and I'm on social media. And one of the best things I learned is you have to start budgeting for external help, like PR, marketing. Shout out to Melissa. You know,
yeah, so don't hide PR, folks. If you're looking for marketing and help, you know, it's a great spot. Must work really hard. There you go. Don't hide PR.com. Actually, just go there, and you know what? That's the business.
you gotta budget for things like that. You have to budget for social media ads and stuff like that. You wanna target the people that you want in your creative sphere, and you have to be really serious and intentional about that. But being a hustler, being grassroots, you don't initially learn that, right? And that is the lesson that I keep learning. Like, shout it out to the rooftops, budget for it, and make sure that you're doing everything you can to make these launches the best launches. So
folks, don't complain if it don't hit if you ain't doing the work, baby. These are gems right here. These are gems.
I'm really trying to put my best foot forward and do this work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, work. I mean, look at this cover. Don't you see that cover? Stronghold, baby. Put a stronghold on your work ethic. All right, the title says it all. Look at these panels. Look at these colors. This is stuff, man. This is stuff. This is comic books. It's beautiful, bro. So talk about this new baby. I mean, you have this new baby. You see, in this story, you blew my mind. It's way old. I was looking at the history. I don't see a number 2. So you're basically doing 2 and 3 new issues, coming up with this new project that, folks, it goes live tomorrow. But you know what? We'll make your life easy. The link's below. So just click on that and get notified when that baby gets live. And that way you make that paper rain on independent projects, because this is what you guys support, folks. Right? You hear his hustle. This is what it's about, man. These are creators. This is who we gotta support, not those corporations. Come on, man. Let's get it done.
Get notified, yo. Come, we got about 80 people that are ready and waiting for launch day, which is tomorrow, 9 a.m. But y'all come and get notified, man. Be ready with us. Let's go. When I hit that green button, we off to the races.
Yeah, this is the page right there, folks. This is the page right there. All right, get it done. Almost ready to go. Right, notify all right there. Bang, baby, boom, get it done. All right, you're gonna see a whole bunch of beautiful goodness on this project. I mean, they're already teasing you. All right, so don't mess around, folks. This goes live tomorrow. You're going to be excited. You're again. Look at the art, yo. It's fire. The coloring, like you said, this team is doing some work. This is just from issue 1. This is the new goodies we're gonna be seeing. This is one of the covers. I don't want to show them all off. You guys see them all tomorrow when this campaign goes live. At what link? Oh my God, that one right there. Again, I'm telling you, right? That's the one you gotta hit. All right. So I only could give you a little bit of the tease. All right. I even had a video and we discussed it in the green. I was like, nah, let the folks see it tomorrow and be drooling at what they need to be doing to get involved in this amazing project. So talk about this, kiddo. Wide or long way, bring us issue 2 and 3.
So OneNation is our flagship series at 133 Art. It's a superhero comic. It has a little bit of military, a little bit of cloak and dagger, a lot of bit of superheroes, a lot of drama, a lot of family secrets, and world threatening consequences. OneNation is about a team of superheroes called the 10th, and the 10th, they're called that because they work out of this foundation, this philanthropic organization called the 10th Foundation, led by a man named Sundiata. They want to change the world. They are truly social justice warriors. They use their powers not only to just save people, not only to bust down buildings and stop villains, but they go throughout the world and use their abilities to reshape society in the way that they know is the better way to do it.
Oh, wait. I love how you say that. That they know. For me, I would change the word that they feel. How dare you them put their stuff on me like that? But anyway, that's the rebellious side of it. How dare they?
You know it. You feel it. You feel like you said. We don't want the corporations to say the track that the world should go on. You know what I'm saying? You feel it. You feel when they're trying to close every positive avenue off so that they can control you. Well, so does Sundiata. Sundiata feels that very well about the world, and he has power. He has the ability to teleport. He calls it sidestepping, and he has power to gather these people together so that they can be a force for good in the world. Right? Stronghold is one of those people. Stronghold is a spinoff from OneNation, and this tells the story about him. There is a rash of kidnappings going on in New Orleans, in his hometown. And he has a contentious relationship with his hometown because he comes from this racist, bigoted family who treated him and his twin sister Daisy really bad when they were young because they're a product of infidelity in his dad's marriage. And his dad is a pastor of a church in the town. And they also have a reality show called Keep the Faith Strong. Alton Strong is the pastor. And the parishioners don't know, and the watchers of the show don't know that he treated his children very badly and created these children who have to build themselves back up from the trauma of growing up in this family. And thankfully, Damien, aka Stronghold, uses that to become the hero he is. But now he has to go back and find out what's going on with these kidnapped children. It's a part of his mission. So they send him back home, and his best friend dies.
Oh.
And now he has to deal with this mission that he's on, but also his best friend passing away while he's home. And it just brings him to a point where he's reliving his past of being treated so badly by his family. And now his dad, because Damien is kind of famous in the world for being a superhero, his dad wants to get him on their reality show to pump up the ratings for the reality show.
Of course.
So it's a problem. It's a big problem. They've been estranged for all these years, and now his dad is like, yo, I need something from you. And he's like, man, you treated us terribly as children, and now you want to help us? And what is going on in the city? You're a part of the church families, and you don't know that these tragedies are going on? Like, what's happening? And also, Damien is dealing with a lot of different things. He's LGBTQ, he's a gay half-black man, albino half-black man in this world.
You're putting him in a bad spot already, all these things. You're making it tough for him already.
So,
you know how society is.
We tell the story about him navigating society, his emotions and feelings, but also trying to be a superhero and be better and deal with this nasty family he came from, right? And the family is a family of they make money in New Orleans. They have the show, which is a business in and of itself. They have the church. They they're like a big money family in the town. They do alligator hunting, all kinds of stuff. So in his background, as a kid, gaining the strength as a superhero, he's wrestling alligators for the family business, and it's a lot. And he meets this guy, Randall, who ends up being his best friend. And Randall is the guy that dies, and he's dealing with this sort of tumultuous thing. See, this is the cover for issue 3. And as you can see, the paparazzi and the media, all eyes are on Damien. But he's just trying to console his past self, right? That's who's in his arms. So that's the kind of thought process behind the cover. And that's what we're dealing with in and out of the issue. In and out of these 3 issues.
Guys, I just want to say that, I showed the cover of issue 2, right? And look at the coloring, the panels. I love it. I mean, you're talking about New Orleans, captured the whole spirit. New Orleans over here, Fat Tuesday, geez, right? That's the money going on.
That's the thing we do in New Orleans. It's called the second line. When somebody dies, instead of being all sad and under the weather, we choose. It's a cultural thing in New Orleans. We choose to celebrate their life. That's beautiful. There's a parade, a procession, before or after the funeral, where you dance and you celebrate your people, and that's what's going on here.
Oh, man, that's beautiful. What? Yeah. I gotta go out there, man, for real. And I love the cover. But I mean, just look at this coloring, yo. Look at this. Use the use of the greens, so just
shout out to our art team. Antonello Cosentino is the line work artist, and Ariana Pisani is the colorist on this issue, and she is doing crazy work. Like, that's some nasty work on that swamp, right?
It is.
Like,
it is. I like color, you know what I mean? I eat it up, and just wow. The art is gorgeous. And again, and the panels and the way you just put the head is in that corner, you understand what's going on. It's her view. And here's a couple of samples in black and white, folks. Don't you worry, you're gonna get them in color. All right. Eventually, when the Kickstarter comes out, all right. What you gotta do is support this page right here. All right. I showed it before. I've been showing it off. It's the post, so you gotta visit them. Stay tuned. Everything he's doing. Again, 6 successful projects, right? And we can still get the books at the website, right?
Yes, sir. So 133art.com is the hub for anything 133 Art. We sell merchandise, pins, apparel, even shoes we've been experimenting on.
You got kicks? Hey, check that
out. We got some fire kicks, man. Like, we've been experimenting on different levels of merch, comics, all of our comic book series, OneNation, Chang and the Jade Obelisk, Retcon, Foo Fighters, Pac Samson. All of our comic series are available on the site. We have our gallery with previous artwork from when I was a freelancer, artwork from 133 Art as it is now. It's the hub for anything 133 Art. Our printing services, we do printing for the wider comic community. We do crowdfunding fulfillment as well. So you know you're gonna get the project fulfilled because we do it not only for 133 Art, but other successful campaigns in the comics industry. So yeah, come check us out at 133art.com.
This Bahati hoodie is dope. Jeez.
Oh, it's nasty, right? I love it. Like that was from a previous campaign. Changa and the Jade Obelisk is the IP for that story. And
I gotta get this. So when I go hit an Afrobeats club, I think the colors will be popping on the dance floor with the lights.
Yeah, man. I thought that one was that was really cool. The artist on that is Matteo Illuminati, and Ariana is actually the colorist for the artwork on that shirt as well.
Yeah, well, they got everything here. So yeah. Before we go, I know this project kicks off tomorrow, folks. An exciting project, all right? Again, the link is below. I've been sharing it, all right? You got to show that love. Can we see you at any conventions that are coming up for the rest of this year? Like, what's popping? Where can we see 133 Art in person and pick up these books in person? You know, again, make it rain, get them autographs, and get them handshakes in. What's popping?
We were just previously at San Diego Comic-Con. Our next con is CamCon. It's in the Los Angeles area at the California African American History Museum. I want to say October 27th is CamCon. It's a brand new show. It was real good. In 2022 was the first show, and this year's show will be the second show. Ryan Coogler actually was at that first show.
Oh, what? Cool.
Yeah, it was a really dope show. So we'll be back October 27th for CamCon.
Excellent. And folks, again, stay tuned. Yeah. You gotta stay tuned to this guy, man. This is the future. It is publishing press. They got fire stuff. I showed you dope pages. Those are a dope project that's dropping. All right. I mean, you've seen the journey and the stories. Again, 6 out of 6 is making 7 out of 7 and so much more. Right. So that project drops. That's
my number.
Yeah, it's fire, bro. You a boss, bro. I love it. So last words that you want to tell the fans out there of why they should go ahead and support this amazing project when it drops.
Listen, it's project number 7. 133. That equals 7. Let's go. It's divine. It's providential. But you should support this project to support artists of color in the comic book industry, right? You should support people that's making new stories in the comic book industry, like not just reductions, not just revamps. We're not just putting characters in place of other characters. We are making brand new stories with brand new perspectives. You know what I'm saying? We're being inclusive. We're being diverse. You know what I'm saying? We're being social justice warriors. And we're about to save the world. The 10th Foundation is coming to make your lives better. Go ahead on and let them come support that Kickstarter.
Love that 10th Foundation. Where fun? Let's go. Woo! Support independent comics, starting with this project right here, folks. It's going live August 6th, right, for a whole month. I mean, so you got time. I know checks are coming in, so don't give me no bullshit, because if it ain't, this is the next, all right? So you're going to make sure to support independent comics. Link is there. Support the website. Support them on social at 133 Art. The number is 133 and the word art. And also at 133 Art Publishing, all right? Follow them. Show the love, man. Support our amazing creators out there, especially these indie creators that are doing, like he said, new stories. I know rehash trash. Some new stuff, baby. I love this. Kiddo, Jason, thank you so much for your time. Bless you on this journey. You could come back any darn time. The Comic Crusaders family, this is su casa, all right? And my fellow Crusaders that were tuning in, thank you for the love. Thank you for the likes. Hasta la próxima. You know what it is. Wepa!
Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercover.com. And also make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.